Imagine the world in 2100. The rainforests are completely wiped out, and the once beautiful terrain is now a dry, empty wasteland looking something like this. This is a possible outcome for our planet if we do not put an end to the harmful methods of deforestation. I don't want my children or my children's children growing up in a place where they face problems such as global warming with a lack of resources because the soil is no longer rich enough to produce plants. If this pattern continues, many animals also may lose their habitat due to climate change and complete demolition of the forests in which they live. We must do something to reverse the damage of deforestation before it's too late. Global warming is the main negative effect of deforestation. There is a massive release of CO2 into the atmosphere. Trees form a natural cooling band around the equator and also hold billions of CO2. Deforestation is the second leading cause of emission of greenhouse gases. Andrew Mitchell from the Global Canopy Program says the focus of technological fixes for emissions of rich nations while giving no incentive to stop the burning of the standing forests of the poorer ones means we are putting the cart before the horse. 2 billion tons of CO2 enter the atmosphere every year from deforestation alone. Industry, although some may think, plays little to no part in greenhouse gas emission. Indonesia is the third largest emitter of greenhouse gases, with Brazil following close behind. Now, these countries have no comparable industry to Europe, United States, or China, but they do have a large burning of rainforests all around the country. Deforestation also affects the soil in many areas of the rainforests that are being cut down. There is a disruption of the water cycle when the trees are removed. Without trees, floods and drought plague the area, and they alternate because there is nothing to absorb the water and nothing to replenish the air when it is not raining. The climate becomes dry over a short time because all the plants are not there to play their role in the water cycle, and they put no moisture or oxygen back into the air. Erosion is another result of the removal of so many trees. Sun exposure dries out the soil, eventually making it infertile due to a loss of vital nutrients. Replanting trees, as so many companies would like you to think, is not the solution. The soil is quickly emptied of all nutrients, and even though new trees are planted, they will not grow in a soil void of all nutrients. Deforestation also leads to the destruction of an ecosystem. The animals face extinction because of the loss of habitat. According to Buzzle.com, 80 to 90% of the Earth's species live in the rainforests. The rainforests only account for about 6% total of the Earth's surface, meaning there is little space for these animals to live, and it only gets smaller every single year. At the current rate of deforestation, there are 50 to 100 rainforest species lost every day. The ecosystem is also ruined because the plants cannot exist in the depleted soil. When the trees are gone, there is no cover from the intense heat of the sun, preventing any other kind of plants from growing. All of the animals that also depend on such plants will not be able to survive. Like I said before, the nutrients are washed out of the soil due to flooding and erosion. With no such nutrients, plants will not even begin to grow, let alone thrive in the area. Many people think that deforestation can be solved by simply replacing the trees that were used. Replanting trees, as stated before, is not the way to solve the problem. Because the soil is in no shape to foster trees, the new ones planted after the others are removed will have no chance of survival. There are also ways to replant the trees, but removal, or really the only way to end the negative effects of deforestation, is to stop cutting down the trees altogether. One reason that so many forests are being cut down is because farmers are needing more land to farm. But with the condition of the soil, it soon becomes unusable and ends up being used as a wasteland. Many would argue that deforestation is a necessary evil to be able to have paper products for convenience and human use. The Going Green movements that so many businesses are adopting these days is greatly helping, and there are so many options other than using paper to complete jobs that it just makes sense to avoid the overuse of paper products. There are so many ways to send and receive information with all the smartphones, iPads, and portable computers out now, that therefore saving time and money, as well as lightening the demand for several paper products. Even using this class as an example, the registration, the completion of assignments, and even the grading process is entirely done online using no paper whatsoever. We are not missing out on anything, and nothing has changed from the format of a normal class. I believe this is the future of education and a great way to keep and conserve resources. Deforestation is a process that can greatly impact the future for the worse, and unless we do something about it to reverse the negative effects. As an ever-progressive society, we have a responsibility to protect and preserve the world's natural resources. Global warming is a pressing threat already, and will only worsen with time as it takes more and more trees are cut down. The actions we take now may determine the vitality of our planet in the future.